right. And we're here, Any Given Sunday Sports Special. It's me, Jesus. I got Steve on the other side. I got
I'm
Anthony on
loving
the
it.
other side. What's up, fellas?
Oh man, it's been rough. It's been rough over here, man.
Not for me. Not for me.
It's been rough.
Listen. It's all good. We gonna make things all right. We got something special for you guys coming up on the show. But before we do, let's go ahead. Let's get into this recap. Dom. And we're going to go Dom and Lewis first. Steve, go ahead, man. What we got for this?
Yeah, man. I mean, all right. So Dream Killers, 2-4. Ball put up 58 points. Yeah, I mean, this was just a bad game. This was like Michigan versus Rutgers times 3. Because Dom puts up a $159. It wasn't even close. I mean, gentlemen, one team showed up and one team didn't. That's all we have to say about this. But I will turn it over to you. That's my comments on this game. Anthony, what do you got to say about this matchup?
We don't have to go much on this one. This one's a very simple one.
You don't. It's he lost by 101 points.
Listen, yeah, I'm second with them on that. Lost by 101 points. Let's be honest, Breeze was at home, and when Breeze is at home, this is what he does. And Brandon Cooks plays well. That's it. On the other side, Lewis, I told you, if you lose again, I wasn't picking you anymore. I got love for you, bruh. I ain't picking you no more. I'm done picking you.
All right, so the next game, we have Drugs Delaney. Is that what we want to go with?
Yes.
Versus Tampa's Empire. Also, 2 low-scoring games. Dennis's team pulls it off, 74-69. 3-3. Drugs Delaney moves to, whereas Tampa's Empire falls to 2-4. I mean, I'll give you my perspective. The perspective is no, both teams were just nobody showed up. No, it felt like nobody wanted the game. And then, Tampa's Empire, they roll the dice to go with.
Wait a minute. We have a special guest on the line.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Let's see what we have here.
Guest.
Go ahead.
Oh, hey, guys.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Hey, just calling in, just to making sure everybody's okay. Seeing how everybody's feeling. Wanted to congratulate the winners who won this week. Sorry, Steve.
Anthony, you and I are gonna fall back, and we're gonna allow Steve and Dennis to recap this game all by themselves. You guys have 3 minutes. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Have at it.
I'll let Dennis take it off. He won. He deserves it.
Well, I think we can both talk about it. The game was one of the worst games I've ever been a part of. It was really, really horrible. Nobody showed up for either one of us.
No.
But, somehow, we patched together a win. And, it seems to be a theme, with the Dynasty win. I spanked you by 55, and I didn't get a word from your camp. So just wondering, I took a couple of years off. I was away from the league. I thought maybe there would be some improvement, but it's. I just wonder, do you plan on beating me this year in either league?
I do actually.
Okay.
All right, let's be honest. This game came down to no team showed up. Nobody really. It felt like nobody wanted this game. I think both of us were actually trying to do each other a favor by purposely not playing the right players to give it to one.
Oh yeah, I didn't play anybody right. Yep, that's true.
It was a bad game. It is what it is. This is one of the ones where on either side, like, you could trash talk, but it doesn't feel right. And on the losing side, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those games where, at least in the Dynasty one, that is a well-respected win, and you should talk trash about that. But this is a game where, win or lose, you're just like, what happened? What is this? What is it? Yeah. I was pulling my hair out. And Jesus, I know you don't want to talk at all, but you even know I was pulling my hair out. Like, I was throwing things around. I was getting pissed at how they're classifying players. I was losing my mind.
Well, the Will Fuller thing, yeah.
Well, that makes me a little bit happy to know that was happening.
Well, here's the thing, Steve. Real quick, I guess if you want me to give my comment on this. When Will Fuller was out, I didn't understand why you did not put Lacy in the game, simply just because of the simple fact that they had nobody else at running back. They literally had no other running back active for the game. So that was, once they had announced, Adam Schefter reported it, which was incorrect technically, technically was incorrect because he was active, but he just didn't play. Once they reported that, if I was in your shoes, and this isn't second guessing, this is just I would have played Eddie Lacy because of the simple fact that there was nobody else to give the touches there. Had you have done that, you would have won the game, but either which way, it wouldn't have been a win that you
it's not really a win.
50-50. But on the other side, Dennis, my main man, pots and pans, you got to build off of this win. You have to build off of this win because now you play two teams that are very beatable. Breeze is not going to put up the numbers that he puts up for Dom every single week. He only does that at home. Everybody knows that. So now you need to build off of that. Steve, same thing for you. That's a loss, but now look at your next 2 weeks. So I expect you both to win your next 2 games, hands down. And then when your next matchup is, Dennis, you have your chance to bury Steve at that point.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, we got a couple buys. I got Cam out this week and a couple people out, so we're gonna do a little more patchwork than we're normally used to doing already. So hopefully we can sneak out another one. We just want to stay up in that division, and it'd be helpful to be 3-0 and to start in that division. So.
Yeah, I mean, but Cam's been on a bye all season, so that's all right. He'll take that.
hey. Yep. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But do you plan on winning that division, Steve? I just want to hear from you. So.
I mean, look.
He's telling you to call it.
If my team shows up, my team is inconsistent as it could get. Because last week I put up a $130, then I do 69. You look the week before that, I think I dropped like 80 and lost. And the week before that, I dropped 125, like my first win or something like that. So it's just like I don't know.
You've had years to prepare for me coming back. But I don't understand.
I get it. It's an early season.
You've had years.
It's very early, and trust me when I say we are not down and out. So you will see me next time, and I can guarantee you there will be a lot more trash talking come the second time around.
Oh, so are you going to guarantee a win?
Oh,
you know what? You know what? If you really want me to guarantee a win on the show, I can do that. I will bring my A game the next time around, and I'll beat you. I'll tie this thing up in both leagues. I should add.
And Dennis, and Dennis, regardless of what happens, we're gonna call you again. We expect for you to pick up, and it's gonna be fun. Regardless of what happens, whether it's for you to gloat that you're gonna win the division, or whether it's because Steve won. I want you guys to have that. Have that again.
We're gonna make it fun again. We're gonna renew the rivalry. Don't everybody out there. I know it's been quiet. You're
my favorite person to play against. So.
Exactly. I know it's been quiet out there, people, but we will renew the rivalry for you. Do not worry.
There it is. We got so many more games.
I sure don't want to win the division series. The series against us 4-0. So hopefully you can get it done.
Okay.
Dennis, thank you so much, man. We're gonna get back on this. All right, let's do this. What's the next game you got, guys? For me? Thanks, Steve.
All right, have a good one, man.
Be good, man.
All right. So the next game we have. Let's go to Man Up Gurley versus the New York Powers. Man Up Gurley put up 82 points. Wasn't enough. New York Powers and Odell Beckham Jr. come back. Put up a $127. 2-4 versus 3-3. My main man, Pots and Pans, how do you feel? This is your floor. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, listen. This is what I envisioned, right? When I built the team. I didn't expect for everybody. My team isn't like an Anthony's team, right? Where I'm going to get 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 all the way across the board. No, my team is I'm stacked with superstars. So I expect every single week for 2 or 3 of those superstars to explode to then carry me to the finish line week in and week out, right? And that's exactly what happened here. This week it was Tom Brady, Odell Beckham, and Rob Gronkowski. Next week it could be Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, and Odell Beckham, or Jarvis Landry, Antonio Brown. So that's what my team is built on. That's what I think is the only antidote that can even come close to beating an Anthony in this league. That's the only chance that anybody can beat Anthony is you need to out-superstar him because you're not going to be able to go toe for toe at each position with Anthony. So you just need to have certain players explode. And that's what I did. On the other side with Pops, I'm going to be honest. Pops, going into the season, his top 2 receivers were Alshon Jeffrey and Allen Robinson. And his no-shows have been Allen Robinson and Alshon Jeffrey. And then on top of that, Mark Ingram is doing nothing, who was one of his top running backs. And then on top of that was Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, I remember, Steve, you and I had this conversation in the offseason when you were trying to trade me Aaron Rodgers in Dynasty. I told you, I just didn't feel right. He's not the same guy anymore. And we're seeing it. He's not going to be that consistent top flight quarterback that he used to be. So, yeah, I won this game, and I honestly think, you guys picked me, and it's because I was the better team. I think the better team did win this game.
Well, and I'll chime in before Anthony starts. I did call out one person that would blow up and blow up big. Did I not?
Absolutely. Home run.
I home runned on this one. I said Odell Beckham Jr. is going to have a phenomenal game. And I think I may have said Rob, but I'm not 100% sure. But
you called Rob also. Yes.
I did. Okay. Yes. So those two guys showed up. They took you to the promised land as I expected. And it came through fruition. And on the other side, I told you guys, even if Pops' team, he played it perfectly, his lineup, even if he put a $110, I said he would still lose because he just can't keep up with the points. If he were in my division, he would have a much easier run. The problem is he is in a beast of a division in the East, and in order to survive in that division, you got to put up a $120 or more in order to survive. And he's just not doing that, and I just see this losing streak continue.
I mean, you called this game perfectly, by the way. You called it. I mean, everything you said was hit exactly on point. Absolutely.
Anthony, your thoughts?
I'm glad Pops lost because he stole my kicker, my tight end. I take that personally.
Hey, Pops, if you want to call on this show, feel free to.
I know we didn't bring Pops on.
He knows the number. I'm watching. I'm like, okay, let me pick my kicker back up. Going, all right, let me see if I can find a tight end. Jordan Reed gets hurt, like, and find a tight end. He takes his back. I'm like, okay, that's really cute. When we play next week, okay, no problem with that. So I'm not happy that he lost. I'm just glad that I played him this week. And the Powers just had, like I said, the team is built around superstars, and they're like the Golden State of fantasy football. Like you have the best wide receivers, you have the best tight end, you have the best quarterback, and that's where your scoring is going to come from.
You're the Golden State because you have 5 great players. I'm Cleveland. I have LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love.
That works. I like Kyrie. He's a Jersey guy. And like we had a discussion before, like I think it's time to have a discussion about Aaron Rodgers because it's maybe like his athleticism has just gone down a notch. He doesn't like run out of the pocket anymore. He stays in there and stays in, like everything's off target and it's strange. Alshon Jeffrey actually played a better game this week, and I at this time I'm actually really concerned about Allen Robinson. He's a terrific wide receiver, and he should be getting certain opportunities that they're just not providing. But the Powers just had a better matchup, had better players, and they won this one outright. Congratulations to the Powers.
And can you play Frank Gore, please? Can you stop playing
Frank
Gore? Let's go. Did we lose you guys? Fellas?
Nice.
Fellas, we don't got you. We're not here. Well, I'm going to get ahead and I'm going to buy some time for us here. I'm going to get ahead and we're going to get to the next game. The next game was the game of the week. We have McPoon handling GOAT Engines versus Slightly Punty Vibe.
Balance. My team's just more balanced. And the fact that right now
Fellas, just to let you guys know, we didn't get anything of what you said. So let's start over with Steve. You introducing this game again, man.
All right. Again, if we cut out, we apologize there. So, again, we had Slightly Punty Vibe going into McPoon Handler GOAT Engines. Slightly Punty Vibe putting up a $123. And McPoon, they just couldn't put enough points. It was 72 points. McPoon falls to 4-2. And the Slightly Punty Vibe, 5-1 with 5 straight wins. And I'm going to kick it off again to Anthony. He's feeling good. Anthony, what do you got to say about this?
Okay, when I lose, I'm going to change my name because I know that's like 4 words for a team, and it should just be 2 words. I'll make it easier next time. For the team itself, like I said, it comes down to balance, and most importantly, even with Carson Palmer struggling, I arguably have right now the 3 best backs in fantasy.
Yeah.
And they're there week in, week out. David Johnson, I said week before, week last. It's never going to change. Right now, the guy seems to be matchup proof. The Jets were the number 2 rush defense in the league, and he put up 31. McCoy puts up 32. DeMarco puts up double digits again. And even with off games from Hopkins and Nelson, and it was a late scratch with Jordan Reed, so I had to put in Gary Barnidge, everything still kind of worked out. I'm still worried about my quarterbacks, but as long as I have those 3 guys, it should carry through. For McPoon, it wasn't a bad game. It just that a lot of his guys didn't show up. Devonta Freeman had a tough matchup with Seattle. I understand that. Roethlisberger gets hurt. Hyde also gets injured. I think right now he has a shoulder injury, so we're going to see how that goes. We all picked said Julio's not going to do great against Seattle, but he puts up 19, and he was the saving grace, but it just wasn't enough. I just think I had a better team, and victory comes to spoil. So, Jesus, what do you think?
And to save some time here on this one, yeah, Anthony, you just did exactly what you do week in and week out. But just for the record, I am a little bit concerned on Jordy Nelson. Definitely getting a bit concerned on his part. Just everything that's going on out there in Green Bay. I don't know if that's something that's going to get fixed. But on the other side, this is the McPoon that I try to tell everybody about. This is the McPoon that I was talking to Steve about last week. They will do well, but then they will stink it up. And this is why I don't think in a division like this, I don't think that their team is even better than a Pops' team on paper. That's just my opinion. But if you're asking me toe-to-toe, I don't even think this team is better than Pops. In your division, I think they're the best team in your division. But in our division, I think they're the 4th best team, even though the record says differently.
Wow. All right, there you have it, guys. We're going to go into next week's matchups. We're going to start off with our first game. We have the Dream Killers. They're now 2-4, coming off 2 straight losses. They're going to play Drugs Delaney, who we saw a great guest appearance, by the way, from Dennis, and we appreciate him coming on the show. He's feeling good. He's 3-3, has 2 straight wins. Right now, the projections are 90-90. It's even money, but the comparisons favor Drugs Delaney by 9.9 points. I'm going to start this off with you, Jesus. Who do you have in this matchup and why?
Give me Drugs Delaney. I told you I'm not picking Lewis anymore. So even though I think Lewis is going to have a very good showing this week, you look at the matchups on his side. Le'Veon Bell against New England, Brandon Marshall against Baltimore, Delaney Walker against the Colts, Macklin against New Orleans. I do like the matchups, but I'm not going against Dennis. And Andy Dalton against Cleveland. CJ Anderson, I think, gets it going this week. I like Crabtree. I think Bennett, this is his turn this week. Jamal Charles, slowly will keep getting more and more carries. Yeah, 100% give me Drugs Delaney on this one.
Anthony.
Give me Drugs. I can't even argue with the matchup itself. The Panthers defense, I know it's on a bye, but has been doing great nonetheless. I think Russell Wilson
against Arizona. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It might actually gain some points there. Russell Wilson against Arizona. It's always a tough matchup between those 2 guys. I think Brandon Marshall shows up and Le'Veon Bell gets involved, even though it's against New England. Just, they got a backup quarterback. So I think it's going to be a lot more of a running attack than anything else. But on the opposite side, Andy Dalton against Cleveland is a great matchup. I think Martellus Bennett gets involved. I think the Patriots really go heavy in that 2 tight end set and just basically going to have to try to stop us one way or the other. And no one's figured out an answer yet. Even though I'm not a believer in Matt Jones, I think the matchup with Detroit's a really good one. I think Michael Crabtree, again, scores this week. And it's just better matchups against better teams for Drugs Delaney. And I think he takes this week versus the Dream Killers.
I agree. It's a sweep. I got Drugs Delaney as well. I think he's has a hot streak. He's got some good favorable matchups. The Dream Killers, you guys know how I feel about some of his players and how I've been on that bandwagon, and I haven't jumped off of it yet. So I'm going to continue that route. This has a possibility of potentially being an upset, simply because if Dream Killer's team can blow up, maybe they can pull it off. But I just don't see that happening. I think Drugs Delaney are also going to bounce back. You're not going to see them put up that low scoring point that you've seen last week. So I think they bounce back, and I think they get another win. All right, our second game that we have is Man Up Gurley at 2-4, coming off 3 straight losses. They're playing a slightly punty vibe, who's 5-1, first in the East. The projections right now is pretty far gap, favored in a slightly punty vibe, 105-97. Spread being about 8.3 points in favor of the slightly punty vibe team. Anthony, since this is your game, let's start it off with you. Who do you have and why?
No problem. Let me see if they can hear this.
Man
Bears are who we thought they were. That's what the if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I like that. I don't know if we have the license for it, but we took it anyways.
You know what?
Exactly.
You know what? And Pops ain't getting off the hook this week. He took my kicker. He took my tight end. He thought it was cute. He was planning ahead. I don't care. Even if my matchups are tough, then they are. Because I don't have much faith in Winston. I know he's coming off a bye. Maybe he gets things worked out. San Fran's a weak opponent. But now they've lost, I think, Vincent Jackson for the season. I mean, he wasn't involved that much. But it's going to be a lot of coverage going Mike Evans' way. Johnson versus Seattle is a tough matchup. Hopkins versus Denver is a tough matchup. Hopefully I get something from Nelson. Maybe, just maybe, Reed comes back this week. I mean, all I worry about is the guy's health. I don't really care about it in fantasy sense. That's a lot of concussions in a very short period of time. Hope the guy gets right. But I still got McCoy against Miami. I still got DeMarco against Tennessee.
I love those two matchups. Oh, my goodness.
They are just fantastic. I love them. Now, we just talked about how Aaron Rodgers hasn't seemed like Aaron Rodgers. Now, if he's going to show anything, it should be this week against Chicago, against a weaker team, which he should do a lot better. Gurley hasn't been himself, and I can't really say that. I can't say he hasn't been himself. It's just that the team around him and how the blocking's going, it's just not going great for him. Allen Robinson should be a good matchup. Alshon Jeffrey technically should be a good matchup. Frank Gore, who's basically at this point just a professional running back, should be a good matchup. I still don't think it's enough, even with the better match that he has, with Johnson basically at this point being, matchup proof, with McCoy and Murray. Those are my guys going to do most of the scoring for me. So I'm taking myself this week.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the matchups, Anthony, and Pops has just some extra juicy matchups here, man. And
I don't care.
Surprisingly, I know you always tell me, one of your famous sayings on the show is David Johnson is matchup proof. Well, David Johnson hasn't really faced any good defenses to be able to prove that he's matchup proof.
Wait. The Jets were number 2 in run defense.
The Jets were number 2. What running backs did they play?
Yeah, it didn't matter.
No, that matters. That definitely matters.
Well, actually, no, they played LaShawn McCoy.
They played McCoy, and then after that, who else?
I got one. Jeez.
Exactly.
Give me some credit.
They played 6 games. Look, Anthony, I've always said this, and I'm not backing off of this. You have the best team in the league. That doesn't mean that you're gonna win every single week just because you're the best team. Things happen, matchups happen. This is unfortunately gonna be one of those weeks that is just the matchups. It's not because you're a bad team. It's because Aaron Rodgers is gonna not relax this week on Thursday night, realizing the criticism that he's taken. He's gonna be at Lambeau. Chicago is traveling on a short week, and you know what happens on short weeks on Thursday nights. One player usually tends to go off from the home team, and that one player from the home team is Aaron Rodgers. And even if he throws the touchdowns to Jordy Nelson, that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you.
Look, let me talk some sense. Let me talk some sense. Are you done?
Take Pops. I'm gonna.
All
take
right,
Pops,
yeah. Let me throw some sanity into this, okay?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. A slightly punty vibe is going to win.
Okay.
I disagree with the Jameis Winston statement that he's not going to do well.
Who said that? I never said Jameis wasn't going to do well.
I know. I didn't say you. Oh. All right. Calm down there, guy. Jameis Winston is going to put up 30 points. That's my you can book it statement. Like I did last week.
Are you high?
No, I am not. He's coming off a bye week. You have a San Francisco D that although at times they can be good, we've seen that at times they can have huge lapses, and I think Jameis Winston and Mike Evans are definitely going to do that. David Johnson is matchup proof. I am going to believe in that statement. When you're averaging 20.5 points per game, you become matchup proof no matter who you play. And I think he's going to do exactly that. DeAndre Hopkins, that's one where you're going to struggle with. Jordy Nelson, I think Jordy Nelson is going to come back, and he's only going to take points away from Aaron Rodgers, so you're good there. And then the rest of your lineup, LaShawn McCoy against Miami and DeMarco Murray against Indianapolis. That's enough to say that you win the game right there. I get what you're saying, that he has good matchups on the other side, but I told you I don't believe in Coby Fleener, and I still believe in that.
I agree with you on that.
I don't think Mark Ingram's going to show up all of a sudden. So really, who you're going to really worry about? You're going to worry about Allen Robinson with offense that's hot and cold? Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah, I'll give you Aaron Rodgers. But I just don't see anywhere else. Okay, Frank Gore, he's consistent. He'll get you 10 points, but he's not going to win you games.
He's going to get you 10. Allen Robinson is going to do well against Oakland. That's going to be a shootout. Absolutely.
No, they're not. I'm sorry. This is a slightly punty vibe. All the way. Book it. Done. Let's move on to the next.
You are out your mind, but let's move on.
Hold on. Before we go, I want to raise my hand for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Week 2 against LA. They only had 6 points.
Who's they?
Against the Seattle defense.
Who's they?
That's LA. Week 6, Atlanta only had 6 points.
Who? Wait,
Miami?
What are you talking about?
Jets.
Right? No. I'm talking about the Seahawks defense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I wasn't sure where you were going with it. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
We're talking about Seahawks defense.
Okay.
Week 2 against Gurley, they stopped him for 6.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody stopped Gurley. Everybody stopped Gurley this year.
Okay. And week 6 against Atlanta, the running backs only had 6 points. Mm-hmm. The Jets put up 10. San Fran put up 25. Miami put up 11. So at bare minimum, he's going to get double digits. He's not going to get shut down. Maybe he doesn't get 20. Maybe
because he can catch it out the backfield. No, absolutely. I don't think he's going to get single digits. Nobody's telling you that here. But what I'm saying is he's not going to get you the big points that's going to match an Aaron Rodgers. That's my thing is I don't think anybody's going to match Aaron Rodgers on the roster this week. That's where and then Allen Robinson. Look, I'm not saying that David Johnson's going to put up 2 points. That's impossible. He's not that type of running back. He's a running back that no matter who it is, you put him out there. But he's not going to get you those 25, 30 points that we've come so accustomed to seeing from this guy who's arguably the best running back in football right now.
We'll see. You'll see.
All right, the next game, guys. We have Tampa's Empire, 2-4, losing last week, playing Dom's team. You can still suck it. Coming at 3-3. He's 1-1. Projections have it in favor of Dom by 4.5 points. I will start with myself on this one, and I think I am going to bounce back. I think the team is primed to bounce back. I get Evans back. I get the Vikings D back. I'm going to get a kicker. I think Andrew Luck's going to throw on that Tennessee D. Hilton's going to be good. Mike Evans is going to be good. Jimmy Graham's going to be good. Amari's finally getting looked at, which is what I've expected to happen. Yep. On the flip side, there is a matchup. AJ Green is the one that scares me. AJ Green could win the game single-handedly against Cleveland. So that's the one I'm absolutely terrified. But when I look at the rest of it, I feel pretty comfortable. Lamar Miller against Denver, not much is going to happen there. John Brown versus Seattle, I still think nothing's going to happen there. Christine Michael against Arizona, maybe he gets a goal line touchdown, maybe. So he'll get maybe 10 points. I'll give that projection. But Drew Brees putting up 22 points against Kansas City, I mean, I don't think that's happening. And I think that's an overstated projection. So that is my thinking. Jesus, I'll turn it over to you.
Finally, Steve, you speak some facts. It's about
please.
time, because you've been just speaking so much gibberish and just garbage this whole show.
Oh, please.
But you finally spoke some fact. Yes, Drew Brees, he's not at home. He's going into Arrowhead. Yeah, he's not going to do well. He's going to struggle, which means then Brandon Cooks is right behind him and struggling. That's just the way that it works. Lamar Miller going against Denver. Denver, surprisingly, is not a good run defense. But I have a feeling after these last 2 losses, you're going to see that defense bounce back. So, yeah, and then on your side, I think Andrew Luck is going to go crazy this week. I think Eddie Lacy is the one guy that I don't even think, to be honest, Eddie Lacy, I don't even think is going to get 10 carries this week. Simple fact, because he's dealing with a very bad hamstring issue. He's not even able to practice currently. They just traded for Niles Davis, the Green Bay Packers. For everything that I'm hearing is he may suit up Eddie Lacy, but you probably won't see him much on the field, even if he does suit up because of the short week. But you still have Mike Evans, T.Y. Hilton, Amari Cooper that are just going to go absolutely insane. Oh, and by the way, Minnesota defense is back.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
You're up, Anthony.
I got nothing against it. It's a clean sweep. You got to go with Tampa's Empire. That Luck to Hilton combination is going to be steady. I think Mike Evans, like I said, he's going to be the guy, the target against a weak San Francisco defense. I think it's going to work out well. Again, Mari Cooper isn't really showing himself. Is what you traded for. It's the reason why you got the guy. You wanted him to have those type of performances, and it's finally showing up. If Christian Michael is going against Arizona's defense, it's going to be a tough road. I think the guy's a tremendous back. He has talent. Sorry, Thomas Rawls, not getting that job back, but he's proven himself. But I think it's a tough sled this week. KC basically shut down Oakland's passing offense last week. I don't see them doing any different now against Drew Brees and Brandon Cooks, especially at Kansas City. I'm hoping for good things for Lamar Miller. Last week was the week where, like, if it didn't work out, then you had to start to panic. But it all worked out the way it was supposed. But plugging Tyler Eifert in and not knowing if he's going to play or not, I mean, it's first it was and just he just missed his first week back. John Brown, I expected more from, but it just hasn't really. With that passing offense, his run game going down, just having that connection. Jimmy Graham might show up this week, especially with a tough matchup. You want to look elsewhere, and he's going to kind of be your guy. Again, you have the Vikings defense. They're great. I can't say it any more than that. And I think Tampa Empire closes one out strong and finishes with a win over You Can Still Suck It.
Okay. All right, and our game of the week now, gentlemen.
Oh, I finally get a game of the week.
Oh, you finally get one.
That's when I usually lose games. You dirty man. You give me that bad juju.
3-3, winning one game. The New York Powers, they're going to play McPoon Handlers Goat Engines, who's 4-2, reeling off the loss. Projections have it in favor of the New York Powers. And it's a pretty big spread at 16.1 points.
That's because he doesn't have somebody in his lineup.
But, my friend, I will kick it off to you. Who do you have in this game? Do you believe in your team?
No. I'm not going first. I won last week because I didn't pick my team. I didn't pick first. So one of you guys go first. I'm sticking to it. I need that juju.
Okay, I'll shoot first. Give me the Powers, and I'll make it very simple. I know it's an early morning game, but I think Odell Beckham is finally showing up. It's the guy they want to go to. Gronk is still Gronk. Brady's still Brady. That Pitt defense did not show me anything great last week. And with the problem they're having on offense, they're going to try to do ball control. But if you shut that run down, it's going to be a lot more possessions for New England. It's going to work well in their favor. Terrell Pryor is maybe like the unsung hero fantasy this year. I mean, I don't think if anyone saw that coming, they're absolutely lying to you because I didn't, and all the teams in the past that cut him did not see the same thing. Mm-hmm. They just have better matchups this week. Even with Jarvis Landry against Buffalo, the Buffalo defense has really stepped it up, but I still think that's a really good matchup. On the opposite side, I think you can trust Julio. Again, Carlos Hyde was at practice today with his arm in a sling, so I'm not certain if he even plays this week. He may or may not, but right now it's still questionable. They haven't really gotten the ball to Edelman. They're really spreading it around, but it's basically Gronk second, then White third. They're not using Julian Edelman the way you would think that they would. Hasn't happened. I don't think it happened this week against Pittsburgh. Kelsey's I'm realizing he's a good actual football player, but in the sense of fantasy, he doesn't bang out those double-digit weeks for you that you're expecting for a guy that's known as well as he has. Devonta Freeman against San Diego is a really good matchup. Same thing with Julio Jones. Now, the problem that comes down to the flex is that I don't know if Latavius Murray is going to be back. I don't think you're going to put Freeman and Snead in there. I don't think you can put Freeman and Coleman in there. I'm not certain about Zach Miller and who has faith in Julius Thomas. The guy is hurt one week, then doesn't show up the next. Derek Carr against Jacksonville is a really good matchup, but all of the matchups are just leaning so heavily in the favor of the Powers that you kind of almost are forced to pick them. I'm not forcing myself to pick them. I think that they're a better team and that they're going to win this week.
All right, now you can
Steve.
go.
Steve?
Of course. Look, this is simple. I got to agree with you in every way. And that's you have to pick the powers based on what you've seen recent. And to me, I feel like Odell Beckham Jr. has found his way, and I think it will continue. And you will see another dominant performance from Odell Beckham Jr. Antonio Brown.
I think
Melvin Gordon. Sorry about that, guys. I cut out. Melvin Gordon is a real deal. I think he's going to, put up great points against Atlanta. Tom Brady is back. He'll throw to Gronk. So, yeah, I mean, on the other side, I just don't think it's enough. And the flex position where he's, what he's going to, put in there, I just think I think it's all powers.
Steve, are you so blown? Like, I can't speak anything else but the truth, and anytime you want to tell a lie, it just cuts out. Right. You
noticed that, right? It just kept cutting out in the middle of him saying.
It's right in the middle. No, he's telling a lie. Stop.
I apologize. This is my signal. I apologize.
All right, so I'm up now. I'm gonna go with the powers. Yeah, think about it, guys. I've been talking about how McPoon isn't that good of a team, that as good as his record says he is. So that would be kind of blasphemy for me to go ahead and pick him to beat me this week. So, yeah, no, I'm going to stick to what I've been saying. I'm going to pick the powers on this, and I just think overall we're a better team. I think right now we're the second best team in the entire league on paper, so we have to live up to it. I don't think there's anything I'm going to be doing that's going to cost me coaching-wise. I think I've simplified my week-to-week decisions as far as what I'm going to do. It's just basically the one thing I've been struggling the last 2 weeks is that last flex position. Who to put in, who not to put in week and week out. I'm going to go with Terrell Pryor this week. I'm thinking I'm going to do that over Jordan Howard. I don't like Thursday night games. I just really don't. So no. I'm not going to go with Jordan Howard.
That's a good choice, sir.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. And we'll see what happens because then I play that man across the screen. I get my rematch with him next week. So I want to win as many as I can before I play him again.
I'll be waiting.
And I'm sorry, I didn't talk much about Rich. Rich, yeah, the one person that does scare me, and I disagree with Anthony, and I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Steve, whichever one of you guys. Julian Edelman. The one thing the Patriots always do is when you don't expect somebody to go, that's when they finally go back to that guy. And I think this may be the Julian Edelman week, which scares me a little bit. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but this may be the week.
We shall see. All right, guys. Well, those are our picks. Thank you for everybody to watching the show. Thank you to our special guests. We hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, you guys stay safe, be safe. We out. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we got through it. Peace.
Peace.